Many thanks. Now call on Kenneth Gibson to be followed by Liam MacArthur.
Presiding Officer, I would like to thank Tavish Scott for lodging his motion and enabling us to discuss this very important issue this evening. And of course, the Deputy First Minister does know about this issue because on 18th of January, if he didn't know already, the Finance Committee met in Pitlochry in his constituency, and one of the big issues that was raised was the issue of lack of rural broadband in Highland Perthshire. And I know that the Deputy First Minister took away that information that day. In my own constituency of Cunningham North, we have the island of Arran and the island of Cumbria, as well as rural areas with houses scattered few and far between in mainland North Ayrshire. I'm therefore acutely aware of the need for reliable and affordable rural broadband and mobile phone coverage. These days, there's an expectation bordering on an assumption that everyone is able or should be able to access information online, complete a web form, email something through, etc. Those who do not have access are therefore a considerable disadvantage, and this is not only frustrating for individuals. We need to make rural and island communities more competitive and appealing as places to live, work and do business. In July 2015, Deloitte published a report commissioned by the Scottish Futures Trust, exploring 3 scenarios for digitalisation in Scotland over the next few years. It concluded that if Scotland becomes a world leader in digitalisation, it could see an increase in gross domestic product of over £13 billion by 2030. Even in the least optimistic scenario, this increase would be £4 billion. The report furthermore describes countless positive impacts of increased digitalisation on GDP per capita, employability, tax revenues, the environment and healthcare, and I would encourage anyone who is interested in the wider benefits of digitalisation to have a look at it. In March of last year, the Deputy First Minister wrote to the UK Government to implement a universal service obligation, or asking them to implement a universal service obligation for broadband services to ensure access to affordable high-speed broadband for all in Scotland. In November, the Prime Minister announced that such an obligation would indeed be put in place. And although his planned obligation to provide every household with 10 Mbps broadband connection by May 2020 is less progressive than up to 80 Mbps aimed for in a digital rollout, I do believe it's a step in the right direction. The Scottish Government and partners have, of course, invested £410 million through the Digital Scotland Superfast Broadband Programme, and I welcome the recently announced further investment by the Scottish Government of more than £130 million for Scotland's digital strategy, mostly supporting infrastructure to help towards the target of 95% of premises having access to next-generation broadband by March 2018, which Tavish Scott, of course, mentioned in his opening speech. It's encouraging that the 85% target for March 2016 has already been surpassed, but it's crucial to keep up the pace. My constituents on Arran regularly report concerns over the reliability of their connections, much in the way that Mike Russell's constituents expressed concerns. However, over 1,400 premises in parts of Brodick, Lamlash, Shiskin and Whiting Bay and Arran now benefit from the new fibre optic network, and further coverage and rollout on Arran is scheduled to take place this spring and summer. Originally, coverage would take place on 97% of the island, with an area around Macri omitted for topographical reasons. And I continue to urge BT, which is delivering the Arran rollout, to explore every option to ensure that Macri will benefit from the network. Properties in Macri are connected via so-called exchange-only lines directly to the exchange that ran through a green roadside cabinet, which makes it more difficult to bring fibre to the properties served by these lines. However, it has been done before, as we've already heard, and understand it should hopefully happen in Macri by the end of this year. Another problem area in my constituency is the small community of Burnhouse on the mainland. Here the challenge is its remoteness from the exchange. It means residents are not able to access the fibre broadband. Solutions are currently being explored to get Burnhouse upgraded, but this takes time residents simply don't feel they have. Presiding Officer, I cannot stress enough how important it is that rural and island communities have access to reliable, fast broadband and mobile phone coverage. Significant progress is being made, but I will continue to press for all areas of my constituency to benefit from the digital broadband programme. Those living in rural and island communities shouldn't have to feel like they are running behind the rest of Scotland, and we must ensure they have no reason to.
Many thanks.